Hey y'all.
What's happening?
Who was that? Jonathan McReynolds. I like that song. Is that new?
It's new.
All right. We bounced back.
Indeed.
We bounced all the way back. Cause was that last week?
Yeah.
Last week. Of course we just now, but we bouncing back.
Yeah.
As we all should. You know what I mean?
Like
you know, as we do as a people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming. Like we said, we never thought we would be doing this. But we actually enjoy doing it. I think it brings us closer.
Facts.
You know?
That's what I've done.
I don't know.
We learn a lot. I know, right?
It brings us closer. And then like when we meet people out and about and they say things like, keep doing your table talks. Or, you wanna like
Not in case you have people telling you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't ever go on live on yours?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Ken don't know how to work his IG.
I don't, man. I'll be like, yo, just copy and paste. And I'll be like.
But then I'm not really that good either. I have to call Zion or Rickes or somebody on the team.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. All right, well, here we are nonetheless. It's been an interesting time, for the world as a whole. But one thing about us, we're resilient people. We are strong, we are powerful, creative, and can't be held down. So in the spirit of that, we just wanted to keep it a little light, but still on course, and we wanted to set an atmosphere where we could hear from many of you as far as, what we're all doing to contribute to our people, ourselves, to moving forward, to learning, to growing, because we all come from different walks of life. We have different gifts, we have different abilities, and no contribution is too small. It could be something as simple as just encouraging your brother and sister that you see in the grocery store, or just telling somebody you see in the corner soaking, hey, stay up, we love you, God loves you, love yourself.
I encouraged somebody today.
Talk about it.
I went to Aldi's.
She went to Aldi's.
Wait, how you say it?
Aldi's.
Well, in High Point, we say Aldi. I went to Aldi.
How y'all say police?
Don't be like that.
I just want to know.
We say polices.
Polices. I do not want to get pulled by the polices.
Don't do that.
You right.
Okay.
Yes,
But I went to Aldi's. Aldi. How you say?
Aldi's.
Aldi's.
I guess.
I went to Aldi's, and there's this lady, a black lady behind the counter, and it was a lot of people in line. She had a mask on. Everybody had a mask on. I went in there deep. I had my hoodie on. I did.
Yeah.
I had your mask on.
Wait.
Cause my mask wasn't in the car.
You say that all the time.
It don't mind, but what's yours is mine.
Just not that mask.
Why?
Because it's custom.
I ain't have on no lipstick, so I messed up.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I was in there, and she just looked like, I've been here all day. The line was long. It was only one person. And so I had two things in my hand. By the way, y'all, I just started like a deep, yeah.
What do you want to call it? A diet, regimen, restriction?
It's very, but I'm on a train I'll tell y'all about that next time. But, so I went in there to get certain meat that she told me to get. And I only had two things in my hand. Everybody else had like so much stuff in their buggy. And so she looked at me and was like, you could come around and I'll just go ahead and check you while she put her stuff. So I was like, okay. She didn't know who I was. She was checking me out. And I said, thank you. She was like, you're welcome. I took off my mask. I said, girl, you need to put your mask on. She started being like, oh, shoot. And I just walked out and I said, bye. But I just want, I was like, let me take my mask down and let her know, I see what you're doing, sister. So keep doing your thing. So we got tickled about that and I left out. But I thought that was
That's dope right there. Just the fact, I get deep on stuff, but the fact that you came out your mask, you came out of your place of protection, your place of, regulation or whatever to bring light to somebody else. And I think sometimes we have to do that as individuals. We have to come from up under our mask or what we're hiding from, or maybe the way the world is going and go against the current if it could be a blessing to somebody else.
Yeah. And I knew that it could. I could tell on her face that it was just a long day. And so I was just.
She was hype at you, man. She was like, come on, check in.
She didn't know who I was. For real, I had on a hoodie, his mask. So she didn't know who I was, and you know, everybody else was kind of just going through, putting their stuff up, in and out, and I just wanted to like put a smile on my sister's face, and she got too tickled when she found out it was me. So thank you for helping me through the line, sis, because it was pretty long.
And so that's what we mean, you know, what are we all doing, you know, to bring our gifts to the table, or a simple hello. It could be, you know, your neighbor doesn't have a mask, or you know that your neighbor's been affected, you know, by some of the current events. You know, we're all doing something, or maybe it's a great time for us to realize that we can do something, that we do have something to give, because after pain has to come joy, after, you know, protest has to come praise. We can't be so one-sided that we lose sight of what we're trying to attain, or what we're trying to reach, which is a piece of happiness and normalcy and community.
And who God is.
And who God
and what we were placed, you know what I mean, who we are, why we were put on this earth, and we've gotten so far from joy and peace and light and love. And so that's what we have to every day wake up and want to share that in whatever way that is for you. And I know I do that all day, every day. I give the shoes off my feet.
Yeah, you will.
I will.
Some good shoes too.
Good shoes.
Some good shoes.
And I'm doing
Some good shoes.
So yeah, we have to just stay focused on who God is and why we were placed on this earth.
No doubt. And so, you know, if we could have the support of the Ricans, you know, I'm putting him on the spot.
Put him on the spot, man.
We really want to hear from you. You know, we want him to randomly pick somebody, couple people, and just let us know what you're doing with the gifts that you have. You might be a mother who knows how to cook.
But I would like to start it off with him, because so the Ricans is very quiet, and I ain't gonna say shy around us, you know, but when we go places, people be like, he's so quiet, he don't talk. But when he does speak, the words that, a lot of wisdom comes out. So we were talking about something, and you don't have to tap too much into that if you don't want to, but we were talking about something while we were getting ready with my sister Essence and me and Dorikas, and he was just he said some deep stuff, because I was saying to him, I was like, you know, when we do the Taylor Talks now, it's almost like you wonder, should I keep diving into that to let, because it's almost like walking on eggshells. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. I know that I said to my husband, and we both agreed, like, let's push through. Let's continue to encourage and not just stay on the subject. And so you had said something, I forgot, like, I'm sorry, we put you on the spot.
I do know, like, a lot is going on, and I know a lot of people are being, I know it's a heavy time, but also I think that this is a time for grace. God is allowing grace, and he has lowered the heavens. So I think that this is a time that we can do things that we normally couldn't do. So this is the time to open up business. This is the time to open a business. This is time to start something new, to take a leap of faith. You know, when you got other races that are out there marching, that is saying that something is happening, something different is happening. So this is a time for grace. Like, God is allowing grace, and this is a time to take that leap of faith and step out there and do something we haven't done. Because when the more business minded we are, and when we're opening up more businesses, then we gain power. And then we don't have to work for another race. We'll build, and we'll open up for our own, you know, we will set the table for our own race. And so this is a time for grace.
Has to do that. But we can't overlook it. Can't overlook it. So I think what he is saying is, so after the march, and we're not saying don't march, but we're saying after the march, now let's sit back and strategize and come up with a plan, so that we can have, like, so around what time, because my husband is a geek, he's a nerd, he reads a lot. Around what time was it the Black Wall Street? What around, like, what?
Oh man, that date I cannot give you verbatim.
Okay.
I definitely know a lot of the details of what happened and how they kind of came in covertly. I've watched interviews from, like, one of the main survivors from that event when she was a child, and she, you know, not knowing what was going on. She didn't even know anything about racism at the time. She was so young. But again, that was to install fear into the connectivity that we had, the way our dollar was circulating in our own community. And to echo his point, and my wife said at the same time, that's a dope point, because I wasn't inside of that conversation, but you make a great point. Courage has many faces. And so, yes, it takes courage to stand your ground. It takes courage to go out here and protest. It takes courage to stand in opposition of things that you know are not right. But at the same time, when those juices are flowing and that energy is with you and that empowerment is bubbling in you, you also have a duty and an opportunity, as Rika said, to take that courage and convert it as well, to take that leap of faith, whether it's to get into something new or to get out of something old.
Wow.
You know, this is a great time. So let us not be mistaken and think that right now the only way to demonstrate and the only way to show, you know, Black power, or the only way to show your unity is to do one thing. We have to do multiple things, because like you just said, the gates are wide open. But if we're all moving in this direction, when the smoke clears and certain things have been tallied, will we have taken advantage of these vacant positions and these open this open access to acquire more things, to buy that property, to network, to collaborate and start new businesses? I think you hit it dead on. Because again, courage has many different faces.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
See,
That's
I told
dope,
y'all
bro.
when you open his mouth and jump up his speak. You got something you want to say, girl? No.
You're like, nah, I ain't trying to do it.
But I mean, like, you know, I'm not sure if we did that one time. If anybody wants to chime in, and we have to keep it, keep in mind we have to keep the time. But if you want to chime in and really give, you know, just, it doesn't even have to be on what's going on right now, but we want to know, like, what are you doing to move past this, or to help, or to whatever the case may be. No fighting, no fussing, no just because we need to know too. We all here to help each other. So if there's anybody out there, and we will wait till you pull up somebody, but if you got anything else,
we gotta be strong and intentional, but we also can't allow it to cause us to lose our humanity, to lose our spirituality, and to lose the love. That can be lost, and it's not an easy thing to do. It really does have to be intentional, because some things can be justified. Certain emotions and actions and behaviors can be justified, but also if you want to rise to the top, you also have to rise above certain situations, and that's a mindset that we have to adopt. And we were just sitting there talking, and we were thinking about all this different subject matter that we could hit, and openings and all that. But we was like, yo, we really just want to connect with people and have a breath of fresh air. We can get right back to, you know, what's going on. We can get right back into the mix. But for this platform, we want to make sure that we insert some love, that we insert some perspectives that are a little more broad and open to everything that we're constantly seeing on our timeline, things of that nature.
And I was saying this time too, like, now's the time, if you have had a dream and a vision, and God has been pushing you to do something, whether that be salon, nails, makeup, whatever kind of business that God has put in your spirit, and you've been like, it's been pulling. Now's the time to walk through the door.
Because you might not have time like this again. Like, that's one thing I continue to stand on, is we have the luxury of time right now. And in a minute, we're going to be released back into the environment. We're going to be right back trying to chase bills. We're going to be right back trying to fight for time to pray, fight for time to study, fight for time to research.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I looked at a lot of the protest things that are going on, I was like, yo, this is phenomenal. This is power. But I also realized, because of the COVID, with its side effects, it gave us the time and the ability to go out here
I had never done
that we've never been able to do before.
Right.
But that window is closing, and it's going to close strategically. So with that time that we have, we might want to take advantage of it, because it's good to be taken away, and we're going to be wishing we did multiple things with that time that we have to seize right now. It's a prime opportunity.
I say sit back, write the vision, make it plain, go
Write
after
on the
it.
tablets of your heart.
Yeah, have faith, move on it. Like, once you start, me and Darika sometimes get on the phone and we be having some good conversations in the morning,
Yeah,
because we do. Because when we like, we have a feeling about something, or God shows us something in a dream, or we'll talk about it. Let's say stuff we talked about like 2-3 years ago, that we're starting to see manifest right now.
Yeah.
We be like, hold up, wait a minute. And it's only because we didn't tarry. If God tell me to do something, I'm gonna go do it. I always tell you, like, I never thought I would have like the whole rock soul movement and the label and all that, because I was so tied up on the labels and contracts and this and that. You know for a fact. And I pray, like, Father, release me and allow me to be able to say I own, it's mine, because this is what my gift that He gave me. But the gift was it was like tug of war. It was being pulled over here, over there. I was tired, couldn't see my own money. I was like, what is this? So I began to ask God for something, and I wrote the vision down and made it plain. And now Rock Soul is here, and now we have a whole team full of amazing people who we love and adore, and who love and adore us. And then God allowed us to walk into our home, and just certain things started happening. So me and Derikas get on the phone, and he be over there shouting, and I be like, man, don't start. But it makes us feel so good, because it's a reminder that God says, if I tell you I give it to you, I will. Now, I ain't going to give you the date and the time. That's the only thing that frustrates us sometimes about God. We be like, well, dang, when's it going to happen? But it don't work like that. You got to have the faith, and you got to begin to write the vision. So I would say to everybody who's watching right now, and if God has put something in your spirit or you dreamed about it, go get it. And then you might say, well, how am I supposed to do it? What's my moves? Go into your closet and begin to ask Him to show you, okay, God, I'm ready now.
And then move on it.
And move on it.
Move on it.
Don't tarry, move on it.
Because you don't know when that door gonna knock, and you open up that door, you think it's gonna be Amazon, and it's gonna be your destiny waiting, and you need to be prepared. That's one thing I can say. When the door knocked, we were prepared.
We were prepared.
Not for everything, but for the most part, we were ready to say, okay, we're willing to take that risk. We're willing to bet on ourselves. I trust you. You trust me. Let's go ahead and jump. See what's happening.
I missed a lot of things. I missed a lot of things because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, and I wasn't at the place where I am now when it comes, to I've always loved God, but I was young and doing my thing, and, I wasn't spiritually connected like I am now. And so all of you who really been following me and know my story, you know half the stuff that I've been through. So to see me now.
But I don't think you missed it, though.
Woo!
One thing I believe is I'm always where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm always where I'm supposed to be. And I've never had a loss in my life as long as I can extract a lesson.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean missed.
I know what you meant.
But after I had a lot of things, I had a lot of nice things, and a lot of this and a lot of that, and I wasn't ready. Oh, come on now. You better preach.
So if you wouldn't have took some of those, blows, if you wouldn't have took some of those hiccups and some of those detours. I wouldn't be the one. You're right. Now,
give me 5. You're right.
Now we can move fast on cruise control and be like, yo, I know that's a pothole. I know that's fake. I know the way that smells. That's not breathing right.
Yeah.
That don't add up. But it wouldn't have came if we didn't graduate from the school of hard knocks.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
And we right where we're supposed to be.
So
Because now
necessary,
we ain't taking no L's. We're not losing nothing. We ain't giving up something that don't belong to nobody, and we're betting on us. We're betting on us. So.
And we're saying all of this to say to you, now is the time. Don't drag your feet.
For real.
Don't drag your feet. Don't miss what God is doing right now, because He's doing something. He's doing something. In the midst of all of this, He's doing something. And we can't see it because we sometimes get so caught up that you can't see the greater. You can't see what He's doing. I remember not too long ago, it rained for how many days?
Forever.
Like
a couple days, about 3-4 days straight.
3-4 days straight. I'm talking rain. And let me tell you something. Dallas don't like when it rains. He check his phone. He'll come tell me, Mommy, it's going to storm today. It's going to rain.
Dallas will let you know.
And what I always tell him, when it rains, God is what? I say, God is crying out. God is talking. God just sit down and listen to Him. And I know some people might be like, girl, for real. But my grandmother used to always tell me that. So it was raining when all of this stuff was really going on. I'm talking stormy. We were sitting in the theater room, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the weatherman didn't say it was coming. That's when our grandkids and our daughter was in the closet, and she was like, we ain't got no power down here. Y'all remember anybody lost power? Did y'all lose power? You didn't lose power, but do you remember that storm? Okay. It came out of nowhere. And to me, I was like, God is doing something. And we just look at it like a storm. But my grandmother used to tell me that, honey, and I stand on it. He's moving. And we got to see it. Jake's just said on Sunday, what do we do after the fire? Is that what he said? What do you do after the fire is done? After the fire goes out?
When the fire goes out.
When the fire goes out? You still got to watch it. It was really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to it.
But he was saying a lot of stuff where he was saying that he was on a call with a bunch of, head men and pastors and stuff. And they were talking about certain things, and they were asking him to pray afterwards, and he said he came at the end and said, hey, listen, I don't think prayer is what's going to change. I think repentance is what's going to change it.
Yeah, facts. That's facts.
And I was like, oh.
Without that righteous behavior, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to get too much into that, but sometimes I believe we've been taught the wrong way. Like, you can do anything, move any kind of way, and then reach out to the Most High. He's going to move on your behalf. Like,
Great.
Sorry about that. We're made in His image. And I'm not going to let somebody play me. I'm not, it's like when somebody calls my phone, and I hadn't heard from them in forever. And I know they just happen to see my wife on TV, or they trying to circumvent me to get to her, or they saw something that I did. But I'm like, at the end of the day, we don't really have no relationship. So I don't really take that call.
Oh, I know what you about to go ahead.
Right, but for some reason we come to the Most High knowing we're made in His image, and we don't spend time with Him, we don't commune with Him, we don't fast, we don't pray, and we definitely don't walk and live in obedience. But we feel like we could pick up that phone and He's going to pick up and just completely move. But we don't allow nobody to play us. We don't allow anybody to play with our emotions, to play with our finances, to play with our time. And we're humans. We're way beneath the Most High and His throne, and we're just a glimmer of His image.
Yeah.
So how do we come to the Most High with less respect, less integrity than we do our friends, a lover, a co-worker, or somebody who you're trying to do business with, who has something that you want? God ain't gonna be played with.
Because we made Him that kind of God.
Yeah, because I believe that
true
religion finds you, but most people run and try to find a religion or a spiritual walk that conforms to the way that they want to live, when actually the true religion is supposed to make you conform and make you bend and make you line up. But we tend to try to find the thing that allows us to still have these scapegoats so we can live the way we want to live and not feel convicted. But God ain't gonna let you play with Him, because I ain't gonna let you play with me.
Right.
And I'm flawed, I'm broken, I'm scarred, I'm some days I just feel unworthy, but you're not gonna play me. So God is perfect, He's holy without blemish, He is the Most High, He is the Lord of Lords.
You better preach, see good.
No, I'm good.
Okay, sorry.
But I'm just saying, I won't let you play me, and most of y'all will not let somebody come and play with you.
Yeah.
So let's start playing with God. When we get into a righteous posture with integrity, and He knows there's true relationship, then you can ask anything that's in His will. Not for no rims, not for... Who
was the comedian Mike F said? We need to ask for some rims for that.
You gotta ask for things that are in His will, and
Yeah.
make sure that what you're asking for and what you're putting your hands to is going to advance His mission. Then you can ask wholeheartedly, unwavering and bold, knowing that He's going to give you those things. And so you just have to line up, and that's what we have to do as a people. Like, everything that we're doing is so important. We have to say enough is enough. We have to stop voter suppression. We have to stop doing all of those things. But when it's all said and done, and all that paperwork looks the way we want it to look, we have to move with a righteous posture.
I was watching, I think the name of the movie is called Selma.
Yeah.
Yeah, about Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
So I was watching it the other day. And of course, I cried and I laughed. Yes, I cried and I laughed, and I was like, wow. He was setting up something that was bigger than even in that time. Mm-hmm. Like, God has showed him something and had such a call in his life that was bigger than it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see, right? We in 2020. That was back then. And I was like, okay, they killed him because they knew exactly where he was going and what he was doing. He was setting up something that we cannot forget.
Correct.
We got to keep building, and we got to keep, like, he was fighting for us to be able to vote. He was fighting for us to be able to go in any restaurant or anywhere, like, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, we good now, but there's some other things that's going on. And he had something in work, so we got to continue to live out his legacy. Mm-hmm. Because his life, he lost his life for us. He had a plan, and he didn't stop. It was one part of the movie where he was just like, if I die, I'm going out. And sometimes we tend to forget that. I was so glad they played the movie again, because it's a reminder. Mm-hmm. It's a reminder of.
And it's bigger than that. We're gonna jump. I know y'all waiting, and we got, of course, some big news to share. But the one thing that I know bothers a lot of people, I'm not gonna say just me, but it does bother me, is that during that time we were fighting for outside and external things. Mm-hmm. And we were able to achieve them because we were collectively together on the inside. But once we got those outside things, we started to break down on the inside.
Ooh.
And so I'm not saying there wasn't any issues or black on black this or that back then, because it's been there since the beginning of time. Cain killed Abel. You know what I'm saying? I think that was probably the first black on black crime right there. But we've lost track, and sometimes you have to think, do those comforts, those liberties, those freedoms make us too comfortable, and we take it for granted. And maybe this is a reminder of what's important, how to prioritize what is important in our lives with us as a whole, because it seems like when we got those things that we fought so hard for and people died for and were brutalized for and lost things, and again, like pioneers who did something that echoes today, but like Moses, he didn't get the crossover, he didn't get to see the promised land. He got to stand at the Jordan and look and be like, man, that's nice. Y'all know that's going to be nice. King, Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying, Garvey, like they didn't get to actually see where we're at now. But the negative byproduct that we have to fix is us as a whole collectively, and we have to work on that. We have to be more intentional. We have to love each other unconditionally, quick to forgive. We got to be quicker to forgive our brother and sister than we do our boss, who will come in there and just lash out, say anything he wants to you. But for the slave mentality to that paycheck, yes sir, you'll take it on the chin, but you won't forgive your mom. You won't forgive your brother. You won't forgive an uncle. You know, I get why, because ain't no money attack. Like we gotta recalibrate, and this is a great time to recalibrate. So I know we've said a lot in this time, but we just want to make sure, because they're gonna keep pumping you with the stuff intentionally that's going to invoke fear, that is going to keep you angry and keep you upset. But we can't forget love, we can't forget family, we can't forget destiny and purpose in the midst of all that, because they both can live and dwell with each other. We can make an impact, we can stand our ground, we can take no for an answer, but we can also invest, we can strategize, we can network, we can show love, because we're great. We can do all of those things. And we have a voice, so we want to make sure that doesn't get lost.
And I think everything you just said just wraps up everything like what he said with us. How do we do that? Is by going after, starting our businesses, creating jobs for our people, so that we don't have to keep answering to, we start creating and open up the doors and providing opportunities.
And do it with black excellence. Do it with black excellence, because I know there's a lot of people who want to do more business with minority-owned companies, but you can't cut corners just because we brother sister. We spoke. No, I don't want no hair in my food. I want my hair done the best of my ability. I want my car fixed for a competitive price. I don't want my stuff, nigga rigged and bootleg. I want to get that same level of service. So I believe if we show great craftsmanship and customer service, and we do things with black excellence, then by all means, you have a responsibility to make sure that dollar continues to circulate. So we just got to step our game up. You know what I mean? Step our game up.
Somebody wants to know, how do you gain patience to wait?
How do you gain patience to? Well, it ain't easy. It ain't easy.
That's that phrase I live by. I got a phrase where I say, patience is what you do while you wait.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. We might be ready to go somewhere, right? And it take a lot from our wife.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, I'm just giving them an example.
Well, that fit me in it.
But you always in it. But I'm going to give you an example. My wife got this thing where she's like, okay, I'm ready. 10 minutes later, okay, babe, I'm ready. 10 minutes later, okay, babe. My point is, I could sit there and get pissed. I could sit there and keep looking at the clock, getting irritated, or I could go finish something that I was reading. I could go make sure I got the trash taken out so I ain't got to deal with it when we get back. I could go in there and make sure I close out a couple emails, because at the end of the day, she's not going to be ready till she's ready. But what I do in the meantime, that's up to me. Patience is what you do while you wait, because you can't dictate when that check gonna come. You can't dictate when that person gonna come offer forgiveness. You can't dictate when God's gonna move. But what you do in the meantime, that's where the beautiful stuff takes place. So I believe patience is what you do while you wait.
And I like that.
I was like that. See, I was already go for you.
I thought you were. You went for me a little.
I didn't wait for you.
But that is true, and I think while you wait is when you should be writing the vision and strategizing and putting together a plan. I get a lot of young people to come to me all the time and say, I want to start my own business. And I be like, okay, tell me what you got. Well, I don't really know yet. So I be like, well, so how you know you want to start a business? Cause I just know, and I'm like, you want what you see other people do, right? So my thing is, you got to write the vision and make it plain. And I feel like in that time of patience, I had to learn how to do it because it was either that or my mind. Let's go deeper. It was either that or my mind or my life. You see what I'm saying? And it was like, I was like, God, when you gonna show up for this? When you gonna show up for that? This is going bad, that is going bad. And it was like I had to learn patience and allow God to move some things, move some people, put some stuff where it needed to be. So in that time, this is me, right? While he was doing everything he needed to do around me, I had to learn how to begin to read, to write down what I wanted. Like, you see what I'm saying? Right. So I feel like we want microwavable jobs, businesses, and relationships. We want it fast, we want it now. And it doesn't happen like that. So you have to be patient and figure out in that time while you're being patient, God is wanting to work on you while you sit still. Sometimes you got to sit still in the midst of all of that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, they love patience is what you do while you're waiting. And some segueing right over into your marriage, they wanted to know, how did you know, waiting on your king, how did you know that Kendall was the one that you wanted to marry?
I had some phenomenal dance moves.
Boy, bye.
I mean, I was...
Oh, God. He didn't say much of nothing. Kendall can be quiet a lot. Like when I met Kendall, he was just totally different. And I knew that I needed something totally different. And remember, I told y'all, while I was in my moment, how'd you say it? Patience is what you do while you wait. While I was waiting, I was writing the vision. I told y'all I was putting it on index cards, right? I was telling God, okay, God, I need a man that's gonna come in, and I'm broken. I need a man that's gonna build me up, love my children. I need a man that's gonna pray. I need a man. I kept writing it down. So when I met him, I just kept checking off everything on my list. Now, sometimes that could be a setup too.
Facts.
But I told y'all what got me was, before I went out on the road to go do another show, Kendall asked me not for a kiss, not for some, He never asked me for that. He never even approached me that way. He asked me, could he cover me? So I was like, what you mean? He was like, I just want to cover you. He goes down on his knees and he begins to pray for me. And what did you feel while you was on your knees?
You were just crying.
Nothing but tears falling. Because I was like, while he praying, I'm like, I'm up at the top, like, what? But everything that he was saying, how he covered me, how he prayed for me, I was just like, okay, God, I see you. And I waited. I patiently waited. I went through a lot of, but I knew that he was the one.
But on the flip side, because I've heard you answer that question, a lot of people want that question answered, and I get it. But at the same time, I just want to take a moment to tell the men, you have to be in position to be what that woman needs you to be. Now, you're not going to be everything. You have to learn some things. Love is a trial and error, situation. But I definitely know in my life that I had built my life in such a structured way that I wasn't bringing any drama to her with other women, that I wasn't going to bring chaos with my son or anything that was going on. Like, my life was in order. It wasn't perfect, but it was in order. And I remember a lot of times you used to tell me before I got engaged deep into your life and everything was going on, you was like, I was an escape. It was like you would come over to my place and it was just like a breakaway from everything. But there was an atmosphere that was created. You know what I mean? I was able to cater to you. I was able to have conversations with you. No matter where you wanted to go, what you wanted to dive in, we could chop it up. My place was clean. I was a man of order.
And okay, so then let's jump to after that. I invited him. I had my 30th birthday party in DC. I had two.
Insane.
I had one party and I had a show before that, D. It was like a show the first night and then the party.
It was your birthday weekend.
Yeah. And so, most of you guys know when I'm on stage, I get really, really like zoned out, caught up. I don't really see, I just be on a whole nother planet. I just be gone. And so, I I remembered about that time my lip had started quivering, so I was finna get deep down there. I was like, okay, showtime. And it seemed like everybody was standing around just taking cute pictures. And you know, I like to perform, and I like for people to almost perform with me, like get it in, right? So I look up at the top, and it was almost like I didn't see nobody else but Kendall literally stands up in his chair and salutes
On the top
me.
of the top row.
Yeah. Why they had you up there, baby? Why they should have put you on the side of the
I
stage?
like being up there. I didn't know none of these thousands of people at your birthday party.
Kendall was so scared. He was like, this is too much. But he
Way too
stands
much.
up in the chair and he salutes me. And on stage,
Everything just stopped.
I saluted him. And after when we started talking, we sat and we talked all night. And he said, I know who you are. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, I know who you are. He said, when your lip began to quiver, I know that you were full of the anointing. That's the Holy Ghost. And I was like, you know, me and you, together, boo. You my boo.
See, that's what she bring to my life, man. Cause I'm my life. I'm 10 and 2. Like my life, I could be real 10 and 2, man. But you make sure that I, sometimes just.
So that's how I knew. That's how I knew. But remember when I first met him, me and him both was like, I'm cool by myself, you know. And we talked. We became friends.
And we have to fight for that. You gotta understand, man. Love is not a turnkey solution.
Yeah.
Every day I have to learn where she's at, what she's needing. I dropped the ball. I gotta apologize. Let her know that I'm gonna keep fighting for your heart. That I hear what you're saying. That I hear you and I'm listening, and that I want to get it right. And we have to keep working at it. You know what I mean?
But can we talk about how? Okay, watch this, ladies.
Uh-oh.
So when we got married, we got together, I became scared again. And I started wilding out. I'm for real. All my old, ugly, I run this, I ain't gonna let nobody do me wrong, I started coming out. He was like, whoa, what is up? What's good? And what I started to see was, I thought that I had gotten rid of everything, but that fear started rising back up. And my past started coming back to me, and I started walking in fear, like he may leave me, he may do this, he may do that. And let's keep it honest, we separated for what, like, it wasn't long.
2 months, 3 months.
It felt like forever, man.
But
Yeah,
ain't
I
just
swear
you.
it
I made mistakes, and she done.
But I had to tell him though. It felt like forever, and that's when I said, I was like, oh no. And Kendall is a Leo. And one thing about a Leo, 2 things for sure. They will walk and cut.
Speaking of walk and cut, Kendall, why do you feel that black men are scared to commit?
Ooh.
We don't know what that means. Committing to a black man is like trying to tell a 13-year-old you're gonna be a millionaire. Like he wants to believe it. Who wouldn't want that? But it's like, how do I all the steps in between? You know, how do I accomplish that? For me, again, I stress. I never saw a man bringing my mom flowers. I never seen my mom walk past and somebody hit on the butt. I never seen her get dressed up for a date night. We are taught to run through as many women as you can. Don't give your heart. Don't show any emotion. All the things that we're taught is about pride, ego, selfishness. And so when you start thinking about commitment, men get very fearful because, one, they think they're going to lose their manhood. They feel like a lot of men really think they die as a man if you become married, not realizing that that's where you find your energy source. You also find the other missing link to your identity, because God declared that no man should be alone. And it's to be with another woman. If he felt like he was supposed to be with your homeboys all day, he would have created Adam and Anthony. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just go out there, kick it, you know, take over the world, whatever. But he's like, you need some kind of energy. You need something to complement you. And a lot of times we just feel like it's so far-fetched, and especially for men who haven't seen it. You don't just go through certain black communities and see a lot of homes. Some of the first questions I ask mentees when I talk to them, I say, is your mom and dad still together? That's the first question I ask them, because that's going to tell me so much about this young man or older man. And 9 times out of 10, they're not in the home. So it was tough. And honestly, I didn't even know if I could do it. You know, my past hasn't shown that I was going to be the type of man I wanted to be. I wanted to be it. I wanted to be loyal. I wanted to be faithful. I wanted to be dependable. I wanted to be somebody my wife could be proud of. I wanted to be a man other men wanted to be, and women wish they had, like, because I was so honored to my wife. But I wasn't finding that. And I didn't realize it, but you gotta find the right one. Boom, let me close like this. Thank you. I'm sorry it took me so long. When you find the right woman, you'll be what you need to be. Because everything I said I wouldn't do, I didn't want, I wouldn't tolerate, I wouldn't accept, I'm not into. I do all of that with my wife, and I'm cool with it. Like, I'll do anything to have you to myself.
That's what I was scared of in the beginning, because I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Can't be.
Yeah.
Like, because I was used to growing up around men who were players, and that's all I seen.
Yeah.
And they had many women.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, that's why I was wilding out. But I got it together, didn't I?
We got it together.
And I came back and got you, boo.
I just came back and got you.
What?
I don't want y'all to get into it. Like, she like to tell that fable, but I guess because it was public or whatever. But there have been times, man. I ain't never cheated on my wife. We don't do that. But there's times when she's like, "You're not listening to me. Like, I can't communicate with you. I don't have a voice or whatever." And there's been times like I felt like I was gonna lose my wife, man, and that terrifies me. I'm man enough to say that. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, my point, my perspective is not more important than her peace and her security in my marriage. So sometimes you gotta put that intellectual vanity to the side and say, I might, what you say one time, you so smart, you stupid. She said, you so smart, you stupid. But that's dead on, because you could read all the books, you could study all the classes, but you could miss the most simplistic things of a woman's heart. And I've been in that situation. So now I say we're growing, we're learning, you know what I mean? And I'm never gonna start fighting to try to figure you out, you know what I mean?
And he be on the couch sometimes. I go right back there and get him.
When?
I come get you all the time. I go ahead and get
Oh,
him.
no, I don't know about that.
Oh, stop playing. Yes, I
I don't know
know.
about
I
that.
come get you.
Yeah, that's for the cameras.
I come get you. I come get you.
I hope so. You don't want to direct me though. I think I need some time tonight. You need to go sleep on the couch by yourself, and I'll go right in there and pull up sling and find me a good movie.
And that made me mad. I be like, he in there watching TV.
Yeah, she
She
want me to come knock on the door and be like, yo, babe, you know. But I know when I go in there, ain't nothing but heat. Ain't nothing but some real heat waiting in there on me. I'm talking about the 2008 Fantasia. You know what I mean?
Don't say that.
I don't be wanting that.
But I mean that we want to be just honest, because you ain't gonna meet nobody that you ain't gonna bump heads with or get irritated with or get tired of, and we don't want to sit up and be all, I love him. There are days, like I told y'all when I said I wanted to run him over, set him on fire, sing at his funeral, you know, a good song. But at the end of the day, I love him, and so we fight through it, and we do things like this together and kick it with y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you got, bro?
Do social media play a part in your marriage, meaning ups and downs?
I don't think so. Nah, I don't play that game. Like,
what do you mean? What you like? Do we get?
I guess because like this day and time, most people are having a hard time in relationships because social media plays a part, because they have their relationship and then they have their relationship, social media, their relationship. So like, I guess adding in fame with social media and your marriage, you know, a lot of people are having, I think the hardest part about relationship now is that social media plays a part.
But see, that's the setup. Didn't we talk about that one time? Where I said social media comes to kill, steal, and destroy. It does, and so we don't really focus on.
Get this straight. When I met my wife, she was famous. I was not famous, right? I don't have a desire to be famous. I don't have a desire to step into her light. Like, be clear. These Taylor Talks was my wife's idea.
Make him get
these Taylor Talks was she helped me get an IG. Told me I need to get an IG. One thing I'm not gonna let happen is there's only one microphone in the family. Ask Michael Jackson. Ask
There's so many.
All the families, whatever the case may be. You lose relationship when everybody's reaching for that microphone. Why not say, you know what, you take care of the mic, I'm gonna get the building, and I'm gonna get all the equipment, and then you take care of the band. And you know, people don't think like that because everybody wants to be. I've been around my wife long enough to see all the ups and downs. I don't want to be famous. I can't handle it. I'm not entertaining.
You are entertaining.
That's.
And I think the main reason for me wanting to get him on IG was because of Salute First, and I would see how the men would be at our shows. Okay, so we would have meet and greets. We had this thing called meet and greets when we were on tour, and I would see like men would come in the room and they would say, you know, it's good to meet you. Can I speak to your husband? And I would pull him to the side and I'd be like, man, that's so dope. That's so dope. And when he started Salute First, he and his partner would always get off the phone and say Salute First. And he would say to me, if men learn how to salute first before they, you know, put each other down, then we'll be straight. And so I was like, you know what? I think you should start a page so that you can, you know, rally up all the men and you guys begin to talk and speak and do things like that. So that was, but now we don't let that type of stuff come between us.
So like on my page, I'm not showing my car. I'm not trying to show jewelry. I'm not trying to show checks. I'm not trying to even, honestly, I ain't trying to show what I do, because the era I came up in, we moved in silence. And I'd rather you know what I just did than what I'm getting ready to do or where I've been and where I'm going. I just don't move like that. I'm not comfortable giving the world that much access to me. You already got access to my wife, not y'all, but just the world as a whole. That's sharing to me. I'm not going to give you my stuff as well. Then I have no privacy. I have no ownership in my personal life, and I stand on that. And so we don't have any social media issues around here.
And I think that's what, if you're married and you're on right now, my advice to you is make your page more about your marriage and
keep it G.
Yeah, quotes and showing your wife and showing your husband. Because I feel like, and I'm going to say this, when you don't do that, whether it's the husband or the wife, somebody's missing something in the house, and they're seeking and searching for some type of attention,
some kind of validation. Yes.
So if you're starting to see that with or your girl or your dude, you starting to see that, instead of you jumping down his throat, sit down with him, cook a meal, pour a glass of wine, and ask him, can I ask you a question? Is there anything on your heart? Anything on your mind? Is there something I'm not doing? Is there something I'm not giving you? What can I do more of? What can I do less of? Until you got to get to that place, because if they're doing certain things on their social media, they're crying out for some type of attention that they feel like they're not getting in the home.
Right.
I feel that.
And men, when you do it, because it's not easy, be emotionally prepared to accept whatever criticism or feedback that you get for your wife. Don't take it as, you know, you're less than a man or you're inadequate or whatever. You got to check those insecurities and be like, yo, I honestly want you to tell me, like, what can I do better? Can I do this better? You know, can I help you out more? You know, am I missing the mark on something? And when she opens up and shares it, you got to get to work.
Yeah.
And put forth some effort for that, because women love that. Like, she's going to fall in love with you so much more knowing that she was able to bring that thing that she's been concealing from you to the table, that you handled it with white gloves, and you put forth some effort. Man, you ain't going to be able to handle all the love she's going to dish out to you. But it takes emotional strength to be able to put yourself in a vulnerable position. When she sees your vulnerability, she's going to open up more. And that's where that secret thing and that sparkle thing of love takes place. It's not in pride or trying to act like you got it together. Again, take your mask off.
Yeah.
And be open and honest. And just wait on the return. At least that way, if it don't work, you can go to sleep knowing you really did everything possible that you could do for your love and your marriage, and also for yourself.
I always say, don't listen to reply.
Oh, yeah.
Don't listen to
I've
reply.
had to work on that.
Because you know that's what we do. Don't listen to reply. And just be vulnerable on both ends. So.
Yeah. We're going to tell you one more, and we're going to drop this news.
Oh, yeah.
They were saying they love the transparency. And to that question, and I guess y'all kind of answered it, because they were saying, do y'all feel the pressure of having to live a perfect life on social media?
And you know, y'all know, everybody knows. The Rikas, you know, Essence know now. Everybody knows me. I ain't never tried to be perfect. I always, if they found out something about Fantasia, it's because who gave it to them? Me.
No.
Because I don't want to be perfect. And we don't want, like, I used to see people walking the red carpets and they be smiling up a storm and you be like, they just got through fighting in a limo. They don't even get, like, I don't want to be that.
If you claim Christ as your Lord and Savior, the Most High is your head, please be a Leo, because he wants to shine. Yeah. We can't do that. I think too often people get to a place where they've gotten away from their sin or they've gotten away from a hole, but you begin to treat and talk to people as if you was never in the hole. That's the power of being able to be a fisherman and get brothers and get women, is to let them know that you might not still have dirt up under your nails, but you got scars, you got a past, you got a record, you had a reputation. Like, I believe once you get to that point where you start acting like you polished and you've arrived, at the end of the day, Christ is no longer at work, and you have your reward.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So now we can't do that as being believers. And I think that sets it right there.
Too much work, though. It's too much work.
It's too much work being fake, man. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of thought. Like trying to take a picture every day and act like every day is dope. And some days, man, we don't want to talk to nobody. Some days we don't want to talk to each other. Some days we don't want to take no calls. Some days we don't even want to be doing what we're doing. And so we keep it 100. And I'm not going to put myself in a position where I feel like I got to give society what they want me to be, because at that point, again, I'm a slave.
Yeah.
And I volunteered for it.
Ooh.
And you're not an indentured servant. You a volunteer slave to other people's opinion, because you need validation so bad that you letting your insecurity drive you to do something that doesn't fulfill you as a person. Like, you're lost.
Ooh.
And I refuse to lose who I am as a man.
Man.
So, nah.
I like that. Okay.
Let's get to this news. We got 8 minutes. Dang, time flew by.
I know.
Yo.
So let's get to the news. You know, people be like, what's the news? You pregnant?
Yeah,
She pregnant so bad. You don't want no baby about me.
I'll bust you up now.
Oh, don't say it like that. Oh,
Then you gonna be like, babe, I don't feel safe, babe, I don't feel pretty, babe. I'll come here and rub my belly, like, careful what you ask for now. I'm gonna put an old giant Philistine in.
Nah, shut up. Not right now. So the news is.
Talk to me.
Oh man, I feel like music is a healer. Yeah. Soul music is a healer. So my girls have said yes to getting on a plane and coming. Everybody's gonna be safe.
Facts.
And they're coming, and thank you, Charlotte, for opening up the Fillmore. We can't have anybody in the building.
No guests. This ain't like, don't show up at the Fillmore.
Yeah, because I can't let you in. You know my heart. I'd be like, well, just let them sit over there. Yeah, we're going to do a show, and I get to wild out. I haven't been on the stage since all of this stuff has happened. Yeah. And we want to be a blessing to people through music, and we also want to raise money for a couple of things that we're seeing going on right now that needs some attention, and needs some help, and needs some love. So we're doing a show. I don't know, do we tell them where to go?
Yeah, so here's the details. So at, tomorrow morning, check her page, check my page, probably the fan pages, and we'll tell you exactly where to go. And we're doing this different. At the end of the day, we know how other people are charging all kind of stuff to put on shows in their home, in their room, in a studio, whatever the case may be. But my wife has agreed because she believes in the cause. Again, bringing her gifts to the table, and is going to do a full live stream concert. I'm talking about the whole shebang. And we're going to provide the link for you tomorrow. And here's what we're asking. We're asking for a minimum donation of $8.46. Why $8.46? For 8 minutes and 46 seconds, that's how long that knee was on George Floyd's neck that set this whole thing in motion. And what we want to do is come together. We've already got response from so many fans saying, shoot, I give $88, whatever the case may be, but the proceeds are going to go to as many families as we can touch.
There's a lot of families out here that needs, oh man, it's a lot of families that need so much help. A lot of people lost a lot of stuff during this time, their jobs, and I'm a mother, and so we just want to be a blessing. And I just woke up one day and was like, let's do it. And again, I want to say thank you, Fillmore and Charlotte. Thank you so much, because a lot of people are closing their places down.
They let us rock.
And they said we will open the door. We want to represent they opened the doors just for the cause and while we're doing it. And they was like, whatever else we can give, whether that be the money, whether that be the building, and I just said thank you for the building. So we finna cut up. I'm finna cut up.
And again, we're practicing all of the COVID restrictions. It's so much detail and all of that stuff, just making sure that we're safe, temperature checks, sanitation stations, everything that you can imagine to make sure that we are still adhering to the guidelines of what's going on. But the wife and her crew, I mean, the whole shebang, just as if you're at tour, we want to bring that to your living room. We want to bring it to your home, to your church, whatever. So please, like, this ain't something we normally do. And because we want to be a blessing to families who have experienced some of this police violence. If protesters locally have been impacted, we want to take the proceeds and be able to do something phenomenal with it. And we're going to be able to show you that story as well. This is something we're going to be completely visible with. So a minimum donation. Come on, tickets at her show go for $100, $200 and up. $8.46 is the minimum donation to be able to get your link, to be able to tune into the show that will be taking place this Friday at 8 p.m. And like she said, it's going to be insane. She ain't been on the stage
in a long time.
In like 7-8 months.
And
so
I got it ended in worship.
Without a doubt.
And guess what? I can go as long as I want to go because there ain't no time restriction. So if I get towed up, oh well. I'm going to give God glory at the end of my show.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to be here for, I can't be here for, I got work to do, but I look forward to hearing you sing.
Yeah, baby.
You know what I mean? So that's coming down on Friday. So tomorrow we're going to put all the details out there. Please share the information. Let your grandma know. Let your kids know. Let anybody know who needs to have a break away from what's going on, because music is a healer. And everybody, all the major networks, television, they've been reaching out for her to do this. And she's like, nah, I feel like there's something more. And so we're doing this ourselves. We're not taking on any partners.
No, we're not trying to be. We thank you guys for reaching out to me, but
we
just gotta do it our way.
Yeah.
God's way. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Nice check. So it's going down, and all the details will be available tomorrow. We're just going through making sure all the systems can hold this, because we're expecting a huge turnout and huge support. And again, great calls. Gonna help the families out, and she's gonna lose her everlasting mind on stage.
I know what I want to hear going out. Let me see your phone.
All right.
No, I want to play my song. Go back. Please go to your Instagram and go to Candy's page, and I'm going to pull it up.
Oh, I know what
No, please. This is my
I ain't mad at you for that, though. I'm with it, though. That's
He's talking about I already got my song.
I ain't mad at that.
See how you do?
Yeah. And
See, he taking forever on purpose. D. Okay. Is the speaker on? You sure?
Let me make sure I ain't on there. Okay.
Yeah, this how we're going to take it out right here. Is it going to play? Is it on? It should play.
That should be it.
All right, so before you hit that.
Okay.
So this, Father, thank you for another opportunity to connect, to be able to be an example of your kingdom and what it really represents, because the kingdom is always the opposite of what we see on earth. We thank you that you're always in control. We thank you that you never sleep, you never slumber, that you never get tired, that you always have us in the palm of your hands. And we ask that you bless every single listener here, every single person in the streets, every broken heart, every person who's lost a home, who's lost a marriage, who's lost a child, who's lost faith. We ask that you keep them covered and let them know that you've never been more closer than when we're in times of trouble, because that's when you like to show up on your stage and remind us that you are God.
Yes,
so we thank you, we celebrate you, and ask that you cover us as we move forward to this show and allow people to be blessed. In your son Yeshua's name we pray, we thank you, and we believe. Amen.
Amen. And we usually toast to the end, but honey,
I'm on water right now. Yeah, we're doing a little.
See how big my jug is?
Yeah, cheers. Okay, Crystal Light. This is not lean. Don't try it.
What's that again?
They know.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this thing.
Get this thing.
You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You are...
What?
about to lose your job. You about to